My name is Claudia. I come from Austria. I was born there, raised there, and found the Lord at the age of 20 years. And right after that, God broke my heart for the unreached peoples in this world. And I prayed for God to send me to those people who've never heard the good news and where nobody wants to go. And that was the beginning of my journey towards Africa. I changed my major and majored in African languages and French. And then when I finished that, I went to the US to go to Bible school. At the end of Bible school, I prayed for God to open the door to go to Mali. And I had already known for 8 years that God was actually calling me to Mali. But I didn't know how I would go. And so went on an extended fast. And at the end of that time, God opened the door in a dramatic way for me to actually go to Mali and teach there in a Malian Muslim high school. And I went back to Austria from the US and I saw my church and talked to them, and then I just got on a plane to Mali. I had all my stuff shipped to the Malian school director and went to Mali. He picked me up from the airport and took me to the school, and I actually slept in the school the first few days. And so the beginning was pretty hard. I mean, I was in Mali, I had no money really, I had no support, just a few intercessors behind me, and a huge vision that God had given me for Mali to see the country impacted, to see the people's lives changed. And so the first year was more a waiting time and just wondering, okay God, how is this big vision actually come to pass? How is all this gonna become a reality? And now I've been in Mali for nearly 6 years, and it's been amazing to watch God actually make the dream come true, make vision become reality. And it's amazing all God's done in that short time, really. And it really all started a year after I came to Mali. We moved to a house and started a church there, and it was a perfect building. At the same time, God spoke to us and said, do a Christmas party for street children. So a month after I started the church, we did the first party for street children, had 80 street children show up, and gave them food, gave them clothes, taught them the gospel, prayed for them, and played games, sang together. And that was the beginning of the ministry to the street children. So after that we did several parties, and then less than a year after that first party, God spoke again and said, now do this on a weekly basis. So it was another step of faith, because we've never really had the money necessary, but we started doing a weekly program for the children where we would feed them and train them, and every week we would see children get saved, children healed, and they would come back every week and see the lives really transformed slowly. And at the time we had a building close to the bus station where all the street children live and try to get money and try to survive. So it was easy for them to walk over to our building. And I started offering children, don't you want to spend the night in our garden rather than sleeping on the street at the bus station, which is a very dangerous place. So I had one child that would spend the night quite more and more often. And so in 2006, in May, is when we took in the first 3 street children, took them into the house. And I had one of the helpers in our church, I had him move in with us as well. So him and the 3 boys moved into the house with us. And I started teaching them school because they were really too old to go to a normal regular school. And they didn't speak any French, so I started teaching them school, just basics, reading, writing in their language, French, math, and a Bible class. And that was really the beginning of that. Since then, the last 3 years, we've taken other children. Some children leave again, and then we take in more children, and it's really progressed since then. And a big turning point was for us to move onto our own property, which happened in the beginning of February 2008. We had found this piece of land. The government actually gave it to us for free. And beginning of February 2008, we moved onto our property into the first building, which wasn't even done yet. And in September 2008, we went to the next step. And the second building had just had the roof put up. And we started picking up the street children at the bus station and took them to our place and had them sleep in that unfinished building. So every night now they come, they sleep here. And again, we still teach them the gospel. We feed them, and we started a class teaching them to read and write their language. And then in the morning, after breakfast, they leave again and go back on the street. And so we really get to know these children, and we see which children are serious, which children we want to get off the streets. And those are the children that we pick out and take in all the way, so they can actually really go to school and have a family again. So right now we really need to do more buildings, so we have more room for the children. We need more workers and more finances. There's thousands of street children in Bamako and really all over the country. And it's a problem the government doesn't even want to acknowledge, because they want to ignore it and say we don't have this problem. So you really can't take any pictures, and it's a very sensitive issue for the government here. But the reason for all these children, and it's really mainly boys, it's all boys that we take in, is that every Muslim family gives away one boy to a Muslim teacher. And it's like a sacrifice to Allah, an offering to God. And so these children, even in the city here, there's a lot of these Muslim teachers, they call them marabouts. And the children come from all over the country and are given to these teachers, where they have to, at night, memorize the Quran. And during the day they go on the streets and they sing verses to people in the car and trying to get money. And they have to get a certain amount of money together that they have to give their teachers at night.